Hello my friends, and welcome to a quick AAR for the Brawndo campaign. So I just basically wanted to cover something quickly, and that is that with games like this, it is possible, well, your start is really the most important thing. The vast majority of the game's difficulty will actually come about from your starting position, and not from the difficulty settings. Now, obviously, you know, extreme nemesis, it does increase the difficulty, but what really actually matters is how fast you can get off the ground as a player. And that start will be largely determined by the resources that are right next to you and whether there's a major regime right next to you that you can actually take down quickly. Because you, as the player, don't start with all the resources you need, especially metal. But amusingly, major regimes, at least the non-nemesis ones, they have the same start that you do. So if they start right next to you, I think that's a major regime here actually. Oh look, there's a city right here too. If they start right next to you, yeah, that is a major. That's raiders. That's not great. You can often just rush them down. Because, for whatever reason, their units will be trapped in their city for the first few turns, so you can surround them, then immediately take them down. So, for this, or for the purposes of this, I'm gonna call the Governor. Set recruits per turn to like as many as I can get. This is going to put a massive strain on my food supply. Hang on, before I do that, is he like right on top? The thing here is these raiders. So you can see it here with the raiders. Their city, I can probably get the major regime next. Their units start in their capital. And they don't go anywhere early on. It's sort of an interesting little quirk of the game. So you can immediately mob someone. Preferably a major, because they're gonna have metal, among other things. You can mob someone early and actually just take their stuff, as it were. And that gives you a really, really good kickstart. But the reason why a major would be a great choice would be because they have the same militia that you do. So as long as you produce units very quickly, you can surround them while they're still parked in their capital. Take them down right at the very beginning of the game and gain access to their metal, their water, all the good stuff that they have. You'll get all their territory. As soon as you take their capital, all their units will disappear. I should nationalize my truck stop as well, so I can just produce units on the front line. Because once you've got someone surrounded, you should produce a load of machine gunners to just hold it still. Oh, Oh, wow. Hellraiser. That's a freaking nuke tank. Wow, they've declared war on me immediately. Which is amusing, because that's what I was going to do to them. So what I'll do is I'll raise a buggy here, and I'll actually start raising my first regiment as replacement troops. I need more industrial capacity to pull that off. I can just nuke it. Wow, sucks to be you.
Yes, sir. We're going in. Run! Run! Run!
Alright, that didn't do actually nearly as much damage as I was expecting it to do early on here. Amusing though.
Yes, sir. Copy that.
Normally it
Copy that.
freaking totally destroys the victim. But yeah, as you can see, you can get a surround very early on a city, preferably a major, and then just take their stuff, and that kickstarts you off. But it's also, you know, it's a good skill to identify when a battle is lost, and also whether you could have done anything about it. So I can see that my friend the Major here is trying to do unto me exactly what I was trying to do to him. Interestingly, that does mean that I could potentially oh, I haven't got the metal or whatever. So I'm not going to get these raiders now because my supply chain has been smashed. Okay, you're not the only one who's got no supplies now, my friend. The only issue now is that the raiders are going to be like, well, get them. And you could hardly blame them.
Yes, sir.
You could hardly blame the raiders for being offended by me surrounding them early and then nuking them. So this will be amusing. Wow, he just took huge damage there. This Major is doing exactly what I was going to do. But way more slowly. Okay, that's not the full size yet. The guy's like, we have no machines, and there's like 1 billion friggin' enemies on our doorstep. It's like, dude, do you think that's important right now? Now, funnily enough, if he's left his city undefended, I could just walk in and take it, which would be very amusing. He's not about to take my city because I've got 4,000 men there. But yeah, the start matters. It truly does. It really matters, and you have very little control over it. And the other thing that you don't have much control over is the start of other factions. If one faction gets gifted a truly wonderful position with lots of resources or whatever, and there's a major nearby that doesn't fight them properly, just bends over and dies, then you can end up in a situation where that guy can get out of control very quickly, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's funny actually because, you know, it's kind of a false difficulty. It's a lot of games in the past have just sort of been wow, they've gotten an OHQ unit already. That's very fast. It reminds me of Tomb Raider. It was one of the first games to sort of do this. In Tomb Raider, the raiders are still sat in their city for now. They've not yet been unleashed. Okay. In Tomb Raider, you couldn't know the traps in that game before you encountered them, and they were basically impossible to beat, or like impossible to avoid on the first playthrough. Once you knew that they were coming, of course, it's been a very long time since I played that game, but once you knew they were coming, they still weren't exactly like easy to avoid, but you could avoid them, you know, because you would run away in a certain direction pretty much immediately or very quickly, and then you would survive. But it was, you know, it's on a first attempt. It just wasn't possible. And I feel like these problems are with games especially are kind of related in that, you know, in the case of Shadow Empire, it's, you know, your first attempt at a map is really, it's assessing whether it's actually a good map that's going to let you get off the ground quickly enough to succeed. And with, you know, games like Tomb Raider, it's a knowledge thing. You need a crystal ball to actually, you know, to see the future, to actually beat that game on the first attempt. So you might as well just consider it to be impossible. I've been given this huge army that's out of supply in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, sir. Copy that.
Hit him!
Open fire.
From every angle. Wow, that bonus is amazing.
Get out.
Okay, well this is definitely not going to be a good start. This might be the nemesis, in fact. Zandstein. Grabenfield Hotchmark. No, they're just a normal major. But I should have hit them. I should have hit them hard and fast. Now what's interesting here is actually there is a save game, funnily enough, that is like Last Planet generated, the save game. And so if you do have a good seed, you can actually go straight back to it from the beginning. And that actually makes a huge difference as well. Those raiders, they never did move in the end. But maybe they, maybe being nuked put them off.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want that. I want that nuke truck. I never did have a look at what's over here or what's over here. Okay, there's a couple of cities over there.
Standing by for orders.
Wrong person to call.
Roger that. Roger that.
Gotta call the governor. So yeah, look, all of his units will be in his capital on turn 1. Just raise a couple of machine guns. No wait, I can't. They don't move for a couple of turns. It's kind of a weird part of this game. So you could nail a major regime early before they move. And by nail them, I mean pin them in their city. Surround them with machine guns so that they can't get out. And then use the surround bonus to win. Oh, there's a freaking... This didn't happen before. Now you see? You can see this at work here. The AI is cutting off to protect. This neutral AI is cutting me off to protect the major. All the AIs work against you. It didn't happen last time because I didn't attack the major regime, so that's why it didn't happen last time. See there that most of his units are still stuck in the city. That nuke truck will be there. It's just that I haven't. That nuke truck will be there. It's just that I haven't. I didn't keep that town. None of this matters. I don't think that this is one that I can actually do, even though he's right on my doorstep here. Because once again, I've got neutrals in my face working against me. Although that's not necessarily a bad thing. But, you know, it depends on what they are. Oh look, you can see he's actually retreated back to his capital. This is one of these funny things that the AI does, is that it retreats to its capital, just stacks all its units there. They start there, and you can keep them there. If you're fast. Exotic club. Alright, we found a tank. Sweet. We also have a huge stack of free folk marauders. Is there genuinely no one there? That's weird. Nah, they should be there. I just can't see them. I don't think their units have just raced off. It would be amazing if they had. Can't raise it there. Not quite enough supply chain. $64. I mean, you can actually raise it there. That's the funny thing, actually. You could just raise it at half strength. The rest of the units will turn up over time from the replacement pool. Just once again, neutral units just dive bombing me. And I mean, that's a 3,000 stack. That's actually an incredibly dangerous stack of units there. There's actually a pretty dangerous stack of units. So unless it wanders away, which it probably won't, it's going to cause me no end of trouble. But yeah, it's just going back to the, you know, the Brawndo campaign. I actually think that my start was pretty solid, but there was no major regimes anywhere near me, so I couldn't kill one off early and get their metal. And that really hurt. That really pushed me back. There was plenty of ruins though, so it wasn't so bad. But you know, unfortunately, the Nemesis regime obviously it had a lot of easy pickings next to it because it just steamrolled its way across the map. Sweet, I just killed 700 infantry without even trying. Okay, I got one guy here in a total surround.
Yes, sir. We're going in. Mission successful.
Alright, the capital is surrounded. I might be able to pull this one off after all. Independent. Okay, I don't have any supply chain available this turn because I used it to move these guys to the front line. Not really interested in playing out any of the other decisions right now. Just kind of wanted to show you guys a major snipe. As long as this guy doesn't get smart and just moves around here to cut off my supply chain, I should be fine. I probably should have moved this away as well. I was just hoping to get that nuke truck and I thought it was here. And then I thought it might be here, but I didn't get it. Normally speaking, you get the same. If you restart a siege, you get the same stuff. All these enemies don't really matter as well, because if you take the capital, they'll all disappear. And if they were all jam-packed into the capital and I had the capital surrounded, I could still eventually win. Simply because they great, got another freaking miner in my face. Arachnids, oh great. Ha! Already good bugs, a dead one. Some of these units are like lowering my chance to win, it would seem. But it's weird because you'd think that it wouldn't matter.
Yes, sir. We're going in.
Oh, we got him.
Mission successful.
Capital snipe complete. Get in there.
Copy that.
Okay. Economic Council needs leader. There's actually nothing I can do about that because I don't have any leadership cards. And that's it. This could potentially become a good start. I don't think it's a great start because well, there's a city right here as well that I could possibly take. Having arachnids on my doorstep is not good because they're very hard to kill. And they don't have a city, so they're just a total negative. That's it now. It doesn't matter what pink does. He can cut my supply chain off on his turn or whatever, but as soon as the turn is over, all his units will disappear. Unless he has another city, which he won't. Okay. This guy was 3,000 men. He just lost another 300, so now he's 2,100. Still dangerous. Huh, all of his units haven't disappeared. Which means... that he must have another city. Which is odd. Who are they? They're Hotchmark. Populace 0. No, they don't have another city. They're dead. They should be dead. Normally all their units disappear. I mean, it won't matter either way because he cannot get any supplies anymore. So all I need to do is just make a chain. Where's that mechanized militia? Here we go. There we go. Whatever I do, I should not move the GR tank. I could move this unit. I think that'll be fine. There we go. Da 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 da.
Copy that. Affirmative.
I think that's the thing that I have to do.
Aye, aye, sir.
The faction candidate thing has actually helped me out there, because I would need that for my economic council. Anyway, I'm not playing, you know, to the super best of my abilities here. I'm just showing you that you can get an amazing start early on if you are, or a really terrible one, and that is what determines the difficulty of your game more than anything. And in addition to that, what matters is how good of a start the other factions are getting. But anyway, I've established my supply chain here. It's now unbreakable. And he has no capital, so his supplies will be disappearing fast. After about 2-3 turns with no supply, you're basically dead. Normally the units disappear, but it's not happened in this case. You also know that the major regimes territory is going to be chocker-blocker, full of you know, metal and good resources, etc. Okay, just kill.
Yes, sir. We're going in.
These guys should have no supplies, so they should just die.
Let's go.
It's just weird that you don't immediately get all of their territory.
Operation successful.
Because that has always been my experience when doing this. So I don't know why why that's not happened in this case. If anyone knows, feel free to drop me a comment as to why this has happened the way it's happened.
Yes, sir. We're going in.
Anyway, these raiders have obviously got supplies still, but they have weakened themselves on me repeatedly.
Mission successful.
It's obviously going to take some time and effort to get rid of them. So yeah, if you look at the victory report now, even though I wouldn't describe this as the greatest position on Earth, you can see here that I now have the same population size as the Nemesis. So I've pretty much immediately now on a even footing with them.
Copy that.
And not only am I in the same boat as the Nemesis now in terms of population, but I will be able to secure metal. There's loads of stuff I could have been doing here to make this even better than this position even better than what it currently is. But this is just really a demonstration of what you can do.
Fire in the hole.
This tank should be able to kill a load of enemies. Oof.
Mission successful.
I'm just a little bit weirded out that they didn't just immediately lose. It might be because they still have a building. If you still have a building, I guess you still have the potential to... They did actually start building an agri-dome there. If you have a building, you still have a potential to come back, because you can convert anywhere where there's a building into a city. Although technically you can't create a city within 4 or 5 tiles of another city, so it is a little bit weird that they're still alive. They should make a note here. Huge success. It looks like the evil spiders went away as well. So yeah, okay, well, I mean, that's it for now. And I hope this gives you some insight into the kind of start that you would need. I wouldn't even say that this is the best start or that I've made the best plays here. But it gives you some insight into the start that you would need to have to actually successfully win a campaign like this. And it's also important that, you know, the Nemesis or other major regimes don't get a great start as well. And there's really nothing you can do about that early on. You just have to hope that they don't get a good start. That's the best you can do, really. 700 men died. I mean, having a giant horde of spiders on your doorstep is probably not conducive to having a good start either. So, just keep that in mind. Also, having 3,000 free folk marauders on your doorstep is not great either. I did eventually manage to kill them all, but not without some effort.
Yes, sir.
We should be able to just one-on-one these guys now because they've been so long without supplies.
Let's go. Get out.
Okay, defender held, but how much ammunition have you got left? That's what I want to know.
Let's go.
Not enough.
Operation successful.
So it turns out.
Let's go.
Clearing away an unsupplied enemy is super easy.
Mission successful.
You can ignore the odds meter because it's lying to you.
Let's go.
As you can see.
Operation successful.
Yeah, okay, so that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is the best start ever either because of having spiders in your face, which, until you've got light tanks, they are incredibly difficult to get rid of. The best you can do is make a wall of machine gunners and hope that they jiggle around and you can slowly push them away. But having a horde of spiders just outside the city is gonna, as you can see here, it's already 46. It's gonna push the danger rating of the city through the roof, which is gonna cause rebellions and all kinds of problems. So, not necessarily the greatest start ever, but you could certainly take this start somewhere. You can see here my population has dropped by like a huge amount. Between the riots and the danger. But clearing this guy away would be easy. The next step would be to take this metal and to link that metal to your capital using the zone rebordering tool, because when you take a major regime city, it's not going to produce for you for a while, really. So you want to delegate the metal to your capital where the workers will actually work. Do you want to invade the spider territory? Haha, no. No, you really don't, but you won't have much choice in the matter. Once all this guy's undersupplied units are cleared away, are pushed away, then it would just be a case of coming down here and surrounding the raiders, who seem to be just sat in their capital right now. They would be next on my hit list. And then you'd have to figure out what the hell you're going to do about the spiders. Leadership is unclear with the spiders. I mean, come on. What? Once you've identified that they're spiders, that should tell you everything you need to know. And they're not going to negotiate with you. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this little strategy with sniping a major helps you out, or helps you win. Win extreme mode. I've beaten extreme mode in practice, but I've just had good starts, and that's, you know, it's sad to distill it down to that, but it matters. It really matters. I mean, ironically, if you start next to one of those degraded factories that adds like 40 industrial points per turn, that also gives you an amazing start. If you can get that and, you know, have like some raiders next to you or something like we have here, and you can take their town early, that will also kick you off to a good start. But you certainly can take majors early, and if you do so, you will set yourself in a very good position early on. Obviously, you have to play the rest of the game. I've just been ignoring all the decisions and everything, and just letting the bureaucracy burn. So you do have to worry about that as well. But for this, I haven't bothered. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe I'll do another shadow campaign thing in the future, but yeah, it's, you know, it's one of them. I feel like I've actually shown all there is to show when it comes to this game, as in, you know, there is one strategy really for winning, and it's to make infantry regiments and then add recons to them, and then later on add light tanks, and then just horde light tanks across the map. For all the technology and interesting, you know, things in the game, none of them are really economical. You really just, as a player, because you have to deal with logistics, you really just have to spam out light tanks with light engines and try and keep your ammunition usage to an absolute minimum. Stress your supply chains as little as possible, and just hoard your way across the map with light tanks taking all the cities. And by the time you step back and actually start building up your nation, you've already won at that point. You should be in a position where you've already won when you actually start building railway lines and level 3 and level 4 buildings and all that kind of stuff. You should already be in the winning position, because otherwise an AI left unchecked will just spread across the whole map and just win from holding territory. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It feels like a game that actually, there are some aspects to it that could have been better, that could have been smoothed out, and I think it's mostly in the logistics system, or it's either you have to make the logistics system less painful for players so that they can actually play strategy and tactics, or you have to make it more restrictive for the AI so that they can't just spread relentlessly without having to do any of the infrastructure projects that players have to do. The game is still very, very winnable on the hardest difficulty with a Nemesis, but honestly, how you get off the ground is going to matter more than anything else, even your skill level. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the Brawndo Extreme campaign anyway. I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration. I had planned to actually just restart if there wasn't a major near me or there wasn't a city near me that I could demonstrate on. And it's just funny that it turned out the major snipe could definitely have been done on this seed had I just gone for it, which is what I did here, but I had to restart and just go for it as a test. Originally I went down here to go for this raider snipe, and of course the major just declared on me and just came after me immediately, so that didn't work. And that's sort of part of the randomness of the game, really. Okay, I hope you all found this informative anyway, and I will see you guys in the next campaign.